The average person spends around 90,000 hours at work in their lifetime, which works out to about 1/3 of your entire life. Knowing this, it should come as no surprise that people who work together may have romantic feelings about a coworker. But is dating a coworker against the law? And if not, can dating a coworker get you fired? Today, we're going to answer both of those questions and back them up with examples and evidence. Let's get into it. The clear as mud answer to whether or not you will get fired for dating someone you work with is that it depends. Nothing like a little ambiguity, right? Don't worry. We're going to help clear this up by sharing 4 factors that you should consider if you're interested in dating someone who you work with or if you already are. And make sure you stay tuned because we will share the laws that may protect you in these situations and also share the one profession where dating your coworkers may actually be illegal. Let's look at those 4 factors to consider. Number 1, your company policies are always going to reign supreme. In other words, whatever your company has laid out in your employee handbook will be the law of the land, so to speak. Generally, this will be referred to as an employee dating policy and will be a subsection of your handbook. Here's what one looks like from the HR company Paycor. Often these cover things like what types of relationships are allowed, whether superiors and subordinates can date, public displays of affection, and if you need to formally or informally disclose that you are dating. Your first and most important stop to answering if you can get fired for dating a coworker is your employee handbook. If you don't have a copy of yours, ask your HR department or your boss. Ideally, ask your HR department because if you ask your boss, they may inquire as to why you're asking. If your company doesn't have an employee handbook, keep listening as we'll cover that next. Number 2, when written company policies don't exist, you may consider leaning on spoken directives, but these can be a pretty gray area. What we mean by this is if your boss tells you that you aren't allowed to date coworkers or specifically tells you that you can't date a particular coworker. While we are not lawyers, so please contact one for an official answer, but these seem like they may be way less enforceable through our interpretation. It also seems like it could be a recipe for a boss to abuse their position to stop you from dating someone that they may be interested in. Again, speak to an employment attorney for an official answer, but we would venture to say that most companies don't really have a leg to stand on firing you if they don't have an official employee dating policy. Number 3, and real quick before we share number 3, if you're enjoying this content and you want to help support the channel, consider taking 2 seconds to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It does so much to help get our content shown to more people. Thanks, and let's get back to the video. Number 3, disclosure may be one of the most important factors to look at in your employee dating policy. Some companies will require you to officially disclose to HR that you are in a relationship. The reason for this is that it gives the company an opportunity to review any guidelines about dating with you and also to have some documentation in case there are any sexual harassment claims in the future. With some companies, you just have to let them know and informally fill out a form. With other companies, you may have to fill out a company love contract. Here's what one of those looks like from the company Mineral by Mitratech, also an HR company. Yes, this could feel a little awkward, especially if you haven't made it official, but failure to do this is almost most certainly a fireable offense if it is covered and required by your employee handbook. Again, we aren't lawyers, so reach out to one for an official answer, but this would be our interpretation. And lastly, number 4, let's look at the laws surrounding dating a coworker and the one profession where it may be illegal. According to the National Law Review, workplace romances are not illegal as long as they don't violate Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. To save you a click, Title VII refers to sexual harassment. There is one exception though. If you are part of the military, you are bound by the laws of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, also referred to as UCMJ. Enacted by Congress in the 1950s, this separate set of laws applies to military members. And if you look at Section 4-14 of Army Command Policy, you'll see that there are specific rules about superiors and subordinates dating. Failure to follow these codes can result in serious legal troubles for a soldier. We'll include a link to the updated Army Command Policy below, as well as a link to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's website where you can read more about Title VII. Before we close, there is one last thing we want to mention about whether or not you can get fired for dating a coworker. Just because it's not a fireable offense does not automatically mean that it's a good idea. There are risks that come with an office romance, and you have to weigh them against the potential rewards. Some of these potential risks are perceived favoritism, challenges if you break up, and also challenges with distractions. That all said, If it's A-okay with your company and you think the risk is worth the reward for a special person, then by all means, go for it. Thanks again for spending some time with us. And if you enjoyed this content, please take 2 seconds to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the channel out immensely so that we can continue to share great content with you and everyone else. Thanks, and have a great day.